Hey, what's going on? This is the Confidence Magnet here with another great video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to keep women interested in your conversation. Never run out of things to say. So you might want to listen in on this if you are having this problem. So without further ado, let's get it. Now, for you men out there who are talking to women and chewing their ear off with some boring nonsense, blah, 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 blah. I'm this, that, and the third. These are my credentials. This is why you should choose me. Put that to rest. Put that to rest. What you want to do is you want women to feel your conversation. It's not about being interviewed. It's about connecting with the person. So if she's saying, well, why? If in her mind, you're probably thinking, I need to impress her. No, you don't need to impress her. You need to connect with her. Now, this might mean you might need to tap into your feminine side. And when I say tap into your feminine side, it does not mean put on lipstick and a dress. No. It means understand how women think. Now, women, they think different from men. A lot of times, us men, we're straight to the point. We don't really need to feel what a person's saying all the time. But women, they like feeling what a person is saying, for the most part, in order to connect with them. Now, we deal with people, we'll deal with women that we're not really connecting with. We just do it for our reasons. And if you're a guy, you know what I mean by our reasons. But women, when they get with guys, they want to feel a connection with that guy. They want to feel like he's the one for them. They want to feel interested in what he has to say. So if you're talking about yourself and it's not interesting her, and you're being this arrogant guy, and she's like, oh my God, he's so arrogant, and he just spoke about himself, I'm done. Now, some guys, they can get away with that. If she says, okay, he's arrogant, but she wants to sleep with him, it's a different story. But if you're one of those guys where you're average looking, and if you remember my video the last time, if you're average looking, what you do can either bring you up or bring you down. So if you're average looking and you are not being interesting to her, if she's not feeling you, then you're not going to get her. You're not going to have her interested in you. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that whatever comes out of your mouth, she's able to feel. Now, don't put added pressure on yourself, because it's very simple what I'm going to share with you. Now, I want you to think about every show that women watch. Think about the most popular shows on TV that has a huge demographic of women watching it. You have these housewife shows, these basketball wife shows. You have these The Real World and Teen Mom and all this other stuff. These are shows where women feel a certain way. It catches them off of there's a lot of gossip around these shows, because you got a lot of people sleeping with one person or another. There's a lot of controversy and all that in the third. Now, if you're not a controversial person, you don't have to do this in order to get her interested. But I want you to think about some of the shows that you watch. Now, if you see my video, some of my recommended TV shows that I watch, there's a lot of cliffhanger shows. You have Nip Tuck, you have The Walking Dead, you have Power, you have Survivor's Remorse. You have a lot of shows like this where you have True Blood. You have a lot of shows like this where there's cliffhangers. You got to wait until the next episode in order for you to see what happens next. So let's say that you're talking to a woman. This is a trick I used not too long ago. It was a few years back. It was probably about 6 years back. Probably a little more than that. There was this girl I was talking to, woman I was talking to, and she said, we're talking or whatever. And, I got to a point where she looked interested, and then I was like, okay, to be continued. And then we spoke about something else. So I'll do that throughout the conversation. And I noticed that every time we spoke, she was getting interested in more and more and more into my conversation. Now, this had a lot to do with she was attracted to me. So that helped a lot. But if you can leave cliffhangers when you speak to women, this will have her interested in your conversation more. So you never run out of things to say because you're talking about the same thing, but you're just continuing where you left off at. It's like one long story. A lot of women, just like men, we like cliffhangers. We like stories where we got to wait for the next episode. So let's say you're talking to a woman and it gets to a really good part and you go, oh man, I got to go. And she goes, what, where you got to go? Like, I got to go to work. And sometimes you might do this, just for fun, for shits and giggles, or you might do it because you have to genuinely leave. And you don't know how powerful this one technique is. Now, when you do this, you're going to realize how much interest she has in you. You're going to notice that when you call or when you text, you get a response. You're going to notice that when you're around, she actually acknowledges you and walks up to you and greets you and all that other good stuff. Now, a lot of gay men, they understand how women think. So you got to think to yourself, why are so many women, good-looking women at that, surrounded by gay men? Because gay men, they know how to talk to women. They know how to keep a woman's interest. Now, I'm not saying you got to be gay in order to do this, but you have to know how women think. Straight men, they need this power too. Now, let me give you an example of a good story that you can have with a woman. Let's say that you're talking to a woman. And let's say I'm going to use something so boring, like you not doing anything over the weekend, but you can make it interesting. So let's say that she goes, well, how you doing? What did you do over the weekend? Be like, oh man, like, you might find it kind of boring, but this is what I did. I went to the store and you know how you go to the store and sometimes you have like a craving, like, yeah. Like, I know that, like, I had a craving for some donuts, chocolate donuts for some reason, and I could not find it for the life of me. For the life of me, I'm like, where can I find? I find these things all the time, but I can't find it for the life of me. So I went to this store, that store, this store, that store, this store, that store. Now in your mind, you might be thinking, well, you just going to the store. Like, who doesn't do that? But in her mind, she's probably felt that way. She's probably had a craving for stuff. Because women, they do get cravings. Don't get me wrong. Just like men, they get cravings too. And a lot of times women, they'll tell you about their cravings. They'll be like, oh, I had a craving for some chocolate ice cream and I have to go get it. Can you give me some chocolate ice cream? But if you have a craving for some type of food, she can feel you on that. So she'll be like, wow, like, you went through all that and did you find it? And you notice that all you're talking about is something that people arbitrarily do. Like, they just go to the store. Like, that's nothing new. And be like, you know what? The last store that had it, I was all the way on the other side of town. That's how much of a craving I have for these things. Can you believe that? And she'll be like, yeah, I did that too. And then both of you are talking about some random BS, some random shit. It's not anything interesting. You're not climbing a mountain. You're not fighting lions and dragons and stuff like that. All you're doing is going to the store. And you can actually make that conversation interesting. Now, you want to be selective if you do that. And a lot of times when you do this, you have to put emphasis in your voice. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin. A lot of you probably seen it. If you haven't, it's a good movie, so you should either buy it or rent it. There's this guy named Andy. Andy's the main character. That's the 40-Year-Old Virgin. You got Seth Rogen's character. So, they think that Andy is they think he's a bit of a psycho or probably like a serial killer because he's weird. He's quiet and he stays himself and everything, and he's not very social. So they try to socialize with him. So Seth Rogen's character, I forget his name in the movie, but he's asking me, he's like, well, how was your day? So he's saying, well, I went to this, I wanted to make myself an egg sandwich and I realized I didn't have eggs. So I went to the store, I got all the ingredients, all the accoutrements, and when I finally got there, I realized I didn't want the egg sandwich anymore. Something like that. And so Seth Rogen's character, he's like, this guy is freaking boring. You could say the same story and you could have life with that story. Just like I said with the story with you going to the store if you have a craving. Now, a lot of people, they can relate to them wanting something and they can't find it. And they have to go through because it's not really about the the fact that you went to the store. It's about the journey you went on. You went on a journey to get something that you wanted. And this can translate into other things as well. She might think, wow, he did all that for some donuts. Imagine if we were going out. Now, I'm thinking a little extreme here. She might be thinking, well, if he could do that for some donuts, imagine if there's something he really wanted that it had more substance in his life. Would he have that much energy? This guy's pretty interesting. He's actually a good person to talk to. He's fun to talk to. So this is one of the ways you can use a woman's emotions to your advantage. When you're telling a story or when you're talking to her, you want her to feel what you're saying. And that's how you get an unfair advantage. The unfair advantage I spoke about in my last video. You want women to feel where you're coming from, what you're talking about, and you want them to feel the conversation. If they don't feel it, then they may not feel you, and they may try to avoid you. Anyway, that's for me today. I want to thank you guys for tuning into today's video. Don't forget to subscribe. I want you guys to rate this video, give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, or give it a big thumbs down if you didn't like it. It makes me know, never mind. I just want your feedback. Another form of feedback, you can leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about this video in actual words. And also, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. I want you guys to share this video with you and yours. I want you to share this video with friends who you feel are having the same problem as you, not being able to keep a woman's interest. And I hope this video, it does them well like it does for you. If you're sharing it, it did you well. Anyway, that's me today. I want to thank you guys for tuning into today's video. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.